Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my Booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. This video will be an October wrap-up about the aforementioned books and reading and stuff. Books. In October I finally finished Dombey and Son. I'll link to the video in the description below. This is a great book, 5-star read. Also for #Victober, I read The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. This is more humorous and scary. It's about an American family who buy an English ancestral home complete with its own 16th century ghost. The 16th century ghost had managed to scare off previous owners or drive them crazy and drive some to suicide, but the ghost is no match for this American family with their brash ways, their proprietary products. It's a very funny take on ghost stories generally. The final book I read in October was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. The novel opens with a performance of King Lear on the stage in a Toronto theatre. The leading actor, Arthur Leander, a Hollywood star, dies on stage. We're then taken 20 years into the future, into a post-apocalyptic world where a pandemic, a flu pandemic called the Georgia flu, which began in the Republic of Georgia, has decimated the world's population. In this post-apocalyptic world, we meet a troupe of actors and musicians known as the Travelling Symphony. They're touring the Lake Michigan area, performing to the remnants of humanity, because for them, their motto, survival is insufficient, a motto they took from Star Trek Voyager. In their number is Kirsten, who is an 8-year-old girl performing on stage when Arthur Leander died, and the narrative intertwines all these stories at the end. I enjoyed this novel. It's a page turner. I'd give it 4 out of 5. I have some issues that the pandemic spreads too quickly. If it was such a short incubation period and such a high mortality rate, I think it would be stopped much more quickly. But we know a lot more about pandemics now than we did in 2014. Also, if it were to start in Georgia, I think the spread would not be from Moscow but through Istanbul, where most of the flights from Georgia go to. It's interesting to imagine what the world would be like without things we take for granted, like electricity, like the internet, like aeroplanes. It was a fascinating read. What should I read next? Quiet Until the Thaw by Alexandra Fuller, The First Man, Albert Camus, Stone Mattress by Margaret Atwood, The Life of a Stupid Man by Ryunosuke Akutogawa, Why I Am So Clever, Friedrich Nietzsche, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Mystery by Peter Straub, Lexebi or Poems by Nodar Dumbaze, No Logo, Naomi Klein, Little Dorrit, Charles Dickens, The Snowman, Jo Nesbo, or Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Let me know in the comments which you think I should start reading first. As for reading, this month I've been looking a lot at reading. I looked at Daniel Pennac's Rights of the Reader. He laid down 10 inalienable rights of the reader. The first was the right not to read. The second, the right to skip. The third, the right not to finish a book. The fourth, the right to read it again. The fifth, the right to read anything. The sixth, the right to mistake a book for real life. The seventh, the right to read anywhere.
Anywhere? Yes, anywhere.
The eighth, the right to dip in. The ninth, to read out loud. And the 10th, the right to be quiet. quiet. My youngest grandchild is learning to read. What are you reading?
Peppy.
What's it about? In this, my first full month on Booktube, I've enjoyed interacting with other Booktubers. I'd like to mention 3 now. There's Margaret Pina, there's Roz from Scallydandling with Books, and there's Gregory Laperche. I hope I've pronounced everybody's names correctly. Gregory Laperche had an interesting idea in one of his videos to have a fantasy football team with fantasy characters. He said, I'd love to see your fantasy lineup, so Gregory, here it is. I'd have Hodor from Game of Thrones in goal because nothing will get past him. In defence, I'd have Peter from Narnia. I'd have Death from Discworld to scare the opposition. I'd have Ron Weasley from Harry Potter. And I'd have Steerpike from Gormenghast because he's cunning. In the midfield, I'd have Susanna from Dark Tower series. I'd have Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. He could be also the captain because he's a strong leader. And I'd have Samwise from The Hobbit because he's very dependable. Then in attack, I'd have San from Princess Mononoke because she's fast and deadly. I'd have Katniss Everdeen because she can always hit the target. And I'd have Ali Baba because he's from Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves because he's very fast as well. And as their trainer or their coach, I'd have Morgana Le Fay from the Arthurian legend. Not only is she intelligent, but she also has healing powers. I will leave a link to Gregory's video below, and if you have your ideas of a fantasy football team made up with fantasy characters, I'll be interested to know what they are. You can leave the comment below. Thank you. And stuff. Not only am I interested in books and reading, I'm also interested in collecting diecast cars. Here I have a cement mixer that was made in Russia, a Bertone Camargue that was made in France in the 1970s, and some other cars and other vehicles. And not just cars and vehicles. This month I also picked up some Scooby Doo figures, a whole cast of Scooby Doo here, and for some bizarre reason a Scooby Doo Batmobile. I don't remember that being in Scooby Doo. I came to Georgia with just 2 suitcases full of all my worldly possessions about 11 years ago. But since then I've been accumulating a lot of stuff. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Mystery.
What's it about?
Shh.